Doug Robbins is an internationally renowned business intermediary and business broker. He has established his business in this area and has been working in it for over 40 years.
The best time to sell a business is when you don't have to sell the business. When you're in good health, the business is operating profitably, it's growing nicely, there's no employee issues, there's no union on the scenes, your contracts are all in place, none of your suppliers are going to cut you off, your lease is in good standing, all your documents are in place, your corporate structure is right for tax minimization, all those things are in place. That's the best time to sell. From the buyer's perspective, he's looking to buy a profitable business that's going to continue to grow, and that's what you need to present. The first real step is to make sure you got a competent divestiture team around you. You need a competent lawyer, one who's not practicing criminal law or who's doing divorces, but someone who's doing business transactions. Beside him, you need a competent accountant, somebody who understands tax, somebody who understands business, somebody who's forward thinking, not just one of those guys who drive along looking at the rearview mirror telling you where you've been. You need somebody who can look ahead. You need to have competent business advice from perhaps salespeople, marketing people, maybe equipment manufacturers, realtors. You need that divestiture competence in there to tell you whether you can make the business worth more money by fixing something, changing something. And last but not least, you need an intermediary to negotiate between you and the buyer. The last thing you want to do is find yourself in the front line negotiating, affected by all the emotions that occur to you while you're negotiating. You need to be in what we call the position of highest authority, just saying yes or no. The most important thing to do is not tell anybody how much you want for the business. As soon as you put a price on the business, you set a ceiling. Nobody's going to offer you more than that ceiling unless there's a bidding war. And usually if there's a bidding war, most of the bidders will leave because they don't want to get caught up in a bidding war. The second thing you can do is to attract what we call synergistic or strategic buyers. These are people who bring something to the table besides just money. They're a competitor, a near competitor, perhaps a supplier, perhaps a customer. And they would look at your business and they will bring something else to it, which will increase revenue, increase efficiencies, reduce costs. And that's something that's really hard to find. And the third thing you can do is try to bring 3 or 4 buyers into the table at the same time without telling them that there's other buyers at the table. If you receive multiple proposals, then you take and look at the best and you go to the worst. And you say to the worst, look, thank you very much for your offer, but I've got a better offer from somebody else. Would you like to withdraw or would you like to improve your proposal? If they improve their proposal higher than the best offer, then they become the best offer. You go to the first offer and say, gee, thanks for the offer, but I've got a better offer. And you go back and forth until you finally obtain the offer that you're looking for. When someone comes to me and says, I want to sell my business, I want to make sure that they're selling their business for the right reason. They've looked at all the alternatives. There are 14 alternatives to selling a business. And have they considered carefully each of the alternatives and is buying the best of those alternatives? And if it is the best of the alternatives, have we taken the time to properly structure our transaction? Real estate's outside of the corporation. Surplus cash has been removed. We've maximized our capital gains exemption, perhaps through a family trust. Those are things that need to be done prior to going to market. So when they're done, we're going to be able to effectively be in a position to sell the business. If we haven't done them, then you're either going to get to the point, well, boy, I've got a great offer, but the taxes are horrific. Most people spend more time planning their next vacation than they do planning the sale of their business. And the reality is they should spend as much time planning the sale of their business as they did planning the acquisition of their business in the beginning or when they started it, and all the growth programs that they implemented during the time they had it. They do a lot of planning then. They need to do the same amount of planning when it comes time to sell.